Hello, and thank you for listening to this short video about a Transtellar initiative, How Can You Modernize Your Statistical Environment? This is case study number 2, Environment for Regulatory Submission. Before I begin, let me quickly tell you about Transtellarate. Transtellarate is a nonprofit organization. We were created to foster collaboration and charged with improving the health of people around the world by accelerating and simplifying the research and development of innovative new therapies. We are a membership-driven organization and passionate about designing solutions to address R&D's most complex challenges related to clinical development and drug safety. Founded in 2012, we have over 60 solutions being delivered across 25 initiatives, across 3 strategic priorities, 20 member companies, 30 initiatives, including 5 pharmacovigilance initiatives. If you'd like to skip this introduction, feel free to go right to the case study slides on number 16. This presentation today is a tool for leaders in biopharmaceutical companies and CROs who are seeking to modernize their statistical computing environment. It is for those who want to directly or indirectly influence their company's ability to apply the principles of our framework practically. It is intended for leaders and influencers in business units who use traditional analytical tools but are seeking non-traditional analytical tools for their enterprise analytics suite that allows for modern and innovative approaches to regulatory submissions. These techniques will help break through business as usual, and we encourage you to adopt and modify as much or as little of this tool as suits your needs. There is an undeniable need for cutting-edge technologies that can transform the analytical lifecycle through innovation. There is no specific requirement for analytical software. However, today we are limited to traditional software because guidance narrowly defines reliable software and pushes us to continue using dated technologies. The lack of guidance on software used in analytics is becoming increasingly challenging due to the emergence of electronic and digital data sources. For example, there has been a growth in wearable and electronic health data at both the organizational and personal levels. The size of the data is growing at alarming rates as data governance technologies emerge, resulting in the need for analytic capabilities that require multiple solution providers, traditional or non-traditional. And there is greater availability of advanced technologies such as non-traditional analytical tools that can offer more capabilities traditional software can't, such as machine learning, artificial intelligence, or natural language processing. Biopharmaceutical companies and CROs have heightened demand for software capabilities to address these needs in their regulated R&D environment. The framework for modernization of statistical environment is being presented today to address these deficiencies. Our framework comprises a set of principles that can be adhered to build and maintain a modern computing environment that health authorities will find reliable and output of which can be used with confidence to support regulatory filings. The framework for developing a modernized statistical analytical environment, or MSA environment, applies to both traditional and non-traditional software. It demonstrates that the MSA environment produces accurate and reproducible results with documentation that traces those results to their lineage of dependencies for each output. This end-to-end control based on ART, which is accuracy, reproducibility, and traceability, will provide health authorities confidence in the reliability of efficacy and safety results for new drug candidates in regulatory submissions. It is important to note while the foundational principles of the framework, accuracy, reproducibility, and traceability, are specific and required for the modernized statistical environment, the particular implementation of them is entirely the purview of the respective organization building it. This presentation today shares general proposals or best practices to help your organization implement a reliable, modernized statistical analytics environment. Accuracy, reproducibility, and traceability are core tenets of the framework that delivers a reliable MSA environment. They cannot do this as a standalone concept. They must be integrated together cohesively. This integration begins by identifying a program's output intended purpose, Processes to appropriately tag programs executed within the MSA environment with an intended use are tagged. Tools to scan programs or program logs should be developed to identify libraries used and assess the risk level to align with the allowable risk level for the intended use. And quality control processes to scan all outputs from an MSA environment should be established to ensure programs used appropriate software libraries. This slide points out a few steps for using the MSA framework. 1. Check out the infographic. 2. Learn more and read the framework. 3. Use the case for adoption to socialize the framework with appropriate stakeholders to create momentum for implementing these types of environments. And 4. Provide feedback or implementation stories to Trancelerate. Effective collaboration with stakeholders is critical in moving forward on creating these modern statistical environments. Namely, when new technologies get introduced to environments, it's typically not in a vacuum, rather, it's built onto existing environments. There are various roles involved in moving these environments forward, both within the statistics organization and within IT. Here is a brief description on how the roles work together to advance the statistical computing environment. 1. Statisticians. Statisticians will work together with programmers to vet and define which new programs will be added to the environment. 2. Programmers. Programmers will work together with statisticians to vet new software, but also carry out specific validation efforts as it relates to specific use of new software. 3. Clinical quality. Clinical quality will provide regulatory oversight in guaranteeing the tools remain compliant for use. 4. IT. IT will take commercial off-the-shelf or COTS solutions and install them into the server environments. Additionally, they will work closely with engineering to develop streamlined or automated processes for these deployments. 5. Engineering. Engineering will work with IT to custom configure the commercial off-the-shelf solution. Additionally, they will work with statisticians and programmers to guide the use of the new tools for building things like automation pipelines. And maintenance. Once the new tools have been deployed, a maintenance competency will be needed within IT to manage maintenance and upgrades to the environment. Here are the phases of implementing the MSA framework model. It starts with pre-planning, design, implementation, and production. We have identified the considerations involved in each phase, along with key stakeholders and challenges. The legend on the left groups the stakeholders into two buckets, core stakeholders and tech stakeholders. Additional stakeholders are listed in each phase. This case study is currently in the production phase where a multi-server computational environment was built that contains two installations, one for exploratory work and the other for submission. Based on the guidance of the MSA framework, a frozen installation to enable a controlled execution was built to support the submission work. The packages used in this environment were put through the framework for verification and testing. The stakeholders involved in this process are biostatisticians, statistical analysts, IT, and business representatives. Because of the multifunctional nature, early engagement between team members and stakeholders from clinical, pharma, and IT forming a cohesive collaboration and co-designing a feasible plan that both teams are aligned on are key success factors for implementation. There is no perfect solution provider that can exactly match the need of a company or organization. In the past, users were restricted to limited solutions that may sometimes be suboptimal. The non-traditional tools provide users additional options and the flexibility to create and program customized solutions which enable the users to choose the best solution for each specific task. This slide shares more details around the benefits, challenges, efficiencies, and regulatory submissions experienced during the implementation of the MSA framework in this case study. In applying the framework, the validity of the non-traditional tool was demonstrated using steps of the framework, which offer excellent guidance around testing and all aspects of creating a new environment. Particularly, the framework provided comprehensive guidance on assessing accuracy, which helped mitigate potential risks around the trustworthiness of the tool. And one of the challenges is that not all stakeholders are familiar with the environment, so communication is key. The business side and the IT side need to understand each other and work very closely together. Another thing to plan for is the amount of effort, time, and resources that may be needed for frequent updates before meeting equilibrium. In addition, with the current shift of company focus, the corresponding adjustments need to be made to the environment to meet different demands. To address these challenges, a dedicated data science team was assigned to develop the environment. Automated testings were also used as much as possible. Packages requested by stakeholders to support upcoming submissions were prioritized to be validated. The case study participants believe that the MSA framework is coming at a good time as the evolution of using non-traditional tools has begun, because it enables companies to be proactive as they prepare for health authority submissions. In the future, the case study participants are planning to keep growing and expanding the environment so that it can be applied to all types of projects and expand the scale from small production to entire company production, supporting submissions and other important decision making. This framework is the result of a year-long collaboration to accelerate the use of new tools across the biopharmaceutical industry and within analysis and reporting competencies for these companies. Broadly, there is a larger cultural shift happening where there are innovations happening at an accelerated pace with software used for statistical analysis. While companies must address risks and delay use of these software capabilities, there is an opportunity cost which ultimately impacts the ability to bring drugs to market faster. Additionally, these innovations can only be leveraged across our industry if the health authorities ultimately find that these capabilities produce reliable results. This framework and these best practices give industry an approach for demonstrating to the health authorities the reliability of analytical software, including those that have recently emerged on the industry's horizon. By working together to build the health authorities' confidence in the software, we will facilitate the modernization of our statistical tools. We only stand to gain from accelerating the industry's transformation. In general, organizations must adopt a more malleable approach to their operations, including the use of frameworks like this to help with the industry's transition to more modern computing solutions. Each organization will have to decide on its own their appetite for change and balance these associated risks. From the field of statistics at large to the individual study teams, embracing this culture shift will be critical to the success of modernizing analytics. You can see the latest updates on the Transcelerate website. We would like to hear from you. Find our Modernization of Statistical Analytics Engage with Us forum on the Transcelerate homepage, where you can share additional feedback. This concludes our presentation. Thank you for watching.